What would you do if the woman you humiliated as a homeless maid turned out to be the secret wife of the most powerful mafia boss in Seoul? Tonight's story will teach you something very important. Never underestimate quiet people. Because sometimes the softest voice in the room belongs to the most powerful person. Let's begin. High above Seoul, near the slopes of Namsan, stood the Kong estate. Cold marble floors, glass walls, generations of power. And inside that mansion lived Madam Kong Sunhee. Rich, influential, feared. One rainy afternoon, the front gate opened. A black woman stepped in. One suitcase. Simple dress. Calm eyes. "My name is Amara Okoye," she said softly. "I was told there's work here." Madam Kong looked at her from head to toe. "You?" She let out a dry laugh. "We don't usually hire outsiders." Amara bowed politely. "I only need the opportunity." Madam Kong smirked. "Fine. You can clean." She had no idea. She had just hired her nephew's wife. Months earlier in Busan, Amara stood in a quiet courthouse. Beside her was Kong Min-jae. To the world, he was a business investor. But in whispered conversations, he was known as the shadow director. The man who controlled ports, trade routes, underground alliances. He slipped a ring onto Amara's finger. "No one must know," he told her gently. "My enemies would use you." Amara nodded. "I don't want protection. I want respect." They agreed to keep the marriage secret. Especially from his aunt. Amara had insisted. "Let me enter your family home quietly," she told Min-jae. "I want to see who they are, without your name." So she entered as a maid. And from day one, Madam Kong disliked her. "You walk too confidently for a servant," she snapped one morning. "I apologize if I offend you," Amara replied calmly. But she did not shrink. And that bothered Madam Kong even more. One night, Madam Kong hosted a high-profile dinner. Executives, investors, powerful men. "Amara," she called loudly. "Come serve the wine." The room went silent as Amara approached. Whispers floated. "She's foreign. Why is she here?" Madam Kong smiled cruelly. "She claims she has nowhere to go. We're being charitable." Laughter filled the room. But one elderly Japanese investor froze. His eyes dropped to the ring hanging on a chain around Amara's neck. A dragon wrapped around a peony. The private crest of Kong Min-jae. His hand trembled. Later that night, a private call was made. "Director Kong," the investor said carefully. "Your wife is serving drinks at your aunt's mansion." Silence. Then Min-jae's calm voice. "Is she safe?" "Yes. I'm on my way." The next morning, Madam Kong confronted Amara publicly. "I investigated you," she said sharply. "Foster background. African connections. No powerful family." She stepped closer. "Women like you attach yourselves to wealthy men." Amara finally looked directly at her. "I never needed to attach myself to anyone." That calm answer was gasoline on pride. Madam Kong snapped. "Pack your things. Leave. Now." Rain poured outside the estate near the Han River. Amara stood at the iron gate. Soaked. Silent. She dialed one number. Min-jae. Her voice barely trembled. "She asked me to leave." There was no anger in his reply. Only cold certainty. "Stay where you are." 15 minutes later. Black sedans rolled up the hill. Security teams stepped out first. Then Kong Min-jae. Tall. Controlled. Untouchable. Madam Kong rushed outside. Min-jae? Why are you here? He didn't answer. He walked past her. Straight to Amara. Removed his jacket. Wrapped it around her shoulders. Then he turned slowly. Aunt, he said quietly. Why is my wife standing in the rain? The world stopped. Wife? Madam Kong whispered. Min-jae held Amara's hand. We registered our marriage months ago. He lifted her hand gently. The ring glinted under the rain. She is Kong Amara. The staff gasped. Madam Kong staggered backward. You married her? His voice dropped lower. You threw out the woman who owns half of everything I built. Min-jae continued. The West Africa trade expansion? She negotiated it through contacts in Lagos. The Scholarship Foundation? She funds it anonymously. Madam Kang's lips trembled. You, let me treat you like that, she asked Amara. Amara's answer was calm. I wanted to see who you truly were. Min-jae signaled to his legal advisor. Documents were presented. The Namsan estate has been transferred to my holding company. Madam Kang's voice cracked. You're removing me? I'm relocating you, he corrected calmly. To the Incheon villa. In Korean culture, exile is louder than shouting. Later that night, on the balcony overlooking Seoul's lights, Amara spoke softly. I didn't want revenge. Min-jae stepped closer. This wasn't revenge. He touched her cheek gently. It was correction. Tears formed in her eyes, not of pain, but release. Weeks later, the Kong Group announced a global expansion partnership with Africa. At a cultural gala celebrating Afro-Korean unity, Amara appeared wearing a modern hanbok woven with Nigerian beadwork. Flash cameras exploded. This time, everyone bowed first. From across the hall, Madam Kong watched quietly. She approached Amara. For the first time, she bowed deeply. I misjudged you. Amara lifted her gently. No. You revealed yourself. Standing once again on the same balcony where she once cleaned windows. Amara looked over Seoul. Min-jae wrapped his arms around her. And in that moment, she wasn't a maid. She wasn't an outsider. She wasn't homeless. She was power wrapped in humility. And the entire city knew it. So remember this. Not everyone who enters quietly is small. Not everyone dressed simply is powerless. And the person you look down on today may be the one the world bows to tomorrow. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more dramatic tales. Because here, we tell stories that teach. And power always reveals itself.